So this is Love Language Japanese, a visual novel released earlier this year, 2019, and it's slightly notable for the fact that it does make actual Japanese learning a core mechanic of the game. So I just wanted to do a quick video here and give an overview of what the Japanese learning, testing, study feature is actually like, so you can make a decision of whether or not you want to invest time into this and call it studying. As far as the game itself goes, the premise is basically just that. The protagonist has gotten admitted to a prestigious Japanese learning school, which as far as I can tell is called Thingy Academy, and did so by lying on his application. And therefore he has to pass a grueling Japanese exam every week or else be deported back to America. And he also happens to be staying in a women's dorm, and all of the students at the dorm, and the school administrator, and the Japanese teacher are all inexplicably attracted to him. So, go figure. But I'm not going to review this as a visual novel. I'm not familiar enough with the genre, and I don't know. I'm just going to play through really quickly to one of these tests here. One thing you can do is you do keep a record of all the lessons you have. If you need to go back and review, the game also gives you quite a few different opportunities for taking practice quizzes if you really need to. I don't know if the material is difficult enough that you're really going to need it very much, but the lessons are basically presented like this. They do start you off with kana, starting with hiragana, and then moving on into katakana. So that's the first couple of weeks worth of gameplay here, simulated weeks. This, by the way, is the only voice acting the game has, these little recorded clips, such as they are. And in addition to the things up here that you have to memorize, there is a little bit of dialogue giving you some explanation. The explanation is probably more useful than the actual quizzing and memorization. But one thing they do give you here that you probably won't see in too many textbooks is that they talk about how the various things you're learning are relevant to manga, for whatever that's worth. I have not yet seen a textbook that describes the different types of laughter used in manga, so whatever. But that's pretty much how the lessons go. They start with the kana like that, they then move into example sentences and some of the grammar used in them. The tests themselves, which I'm just going to skip to real quick here. The tests themselves happen in the classroom again. The game is structured around, like I suggested earlier, simulated weeks. You do 5 days of lessons, which are pretty short, and then one test at the end of each week, which consists of 2 different mini-games, as they call them. And the mini-games basically are timed, and they're all very basic multiple-choice things like this. The new one they introduced in this particular week happens to be fill in the blank. I have to actually pay a little bit of attention here so I don't completely screw up on video, but it's just multiple choice for however good that is for you. It's even better though, because the next one I'm going to do is just true-false. I don't think it's doing it too badly right now, but another thing is that they do repeat the questions pretty regularly. You will often get 2 or 3 of the same question in a row, especially in the early stages. So that makes it even a little bit sillier than normal trying to get through a multiple choice test. It is, of course, highly questionable whether or not you're actually learning anything or just gaming the test by doing multiple choice. But again, this is this is true-false. They give you phrases and you have to say whether or not they actually match the given translation. That's right, isn't it? Sadly, I still have to think a little bit on these, but... That one did trip me up the first time I saw it, by the way. It's that, not this. I was just looking for non-des. So it's not quite trivial. I suspect if you know very much, you're not going to get a whole lot out of it, but... Because I'm trying to merit, I actually almost ran out of time on that one, but... Oh well, we made it. Then, in between all the testing, of course, you have these little vignettes with all of the love interests, including a bit of free time where you can choose where you want to go and hopefully meet someone, and develop one or more of the relationships that way. And Saito-sensei is definitely the most interesting one. Going by the trailer, I think she and I have some things in common that we could really bond over. That's about all there is to it, really, other than the plot itself. I did look ahead to YouTube playthroughs of the late game, and apart from the characters wearing less clothing, there's not really a whole lot of difference beyond what was shown here. It's more or less just phrase memorization and true-false and matching a little bit. So, if you've studied Japanese at all, there's probably more useful material out there for you, unless you are a raw beginner. It might be a not terrible way of getting used to reading your kana, which is a good thing before you start memorizing more useful grammar and kanji, but it is what it is, and chances are, if you are playing this, you are not really playing it for the Japanese lessons, so take this as you will. That's all I'm going to say about this, so thank you for watching, good night.